Hello and welcome to this videocast for subscribers to davidicke.com. Well, over the years there's been two movies that have mirrored my own research in such a way that I was taken aback when I watched them and saw these visual representations of what I've been writing about for a long time. One was, of course, The Matrix and the Matrix trilogy in general, where people were living a false reality, believing it to be real. And as a result of that, they were controlled and herded and manipulated and directed by that which was controlling the false reality. That, I suggest, as I go into detail in my books and in the Wembley event, and the video of that's going to be available very soon. I go into detail about the fact that I'm saying that that is precisely the theme of our reality and why our reality is as it is. But the other film that goes back further came out in 1988, which really captures the themes of what I'm talking about and what I'm suggesting is going on here. Was one that was nothing like as big as The Matrix and as promoted as The Matrix, but it was brilliantly accurate in the way it portrayed the society that it did, and it was called They Live. And I'll talk a bit more about the storyline in a second, but basically it's the fact that a non-human race was controlling human society by hiding behind human form. And a bit like the theme of the Avatar movie, where the American military were infiltrating the society of the Na'vi, the blue people, by taking on a blue person outside form. And therefore people are being infiltrated without realizing that some force that's not from them is doing the infiltrating. So it was kind of interesting to me this week when someone sent me a clip of an interview, in fact the whole interview, but there was a certain clip in it that I'm talking about, by Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper was the actor who starred in They Live. And in this interview he said in effect that They Live was not a film, it was like a documentary. It was like telling the story as it really is. And mentioned that I in many ways used that movie as a theme template for explaining what I'm saying is going on. And then actually Roddy Piper was saying, well, that is what's going on. And I remember when I first saw They Live, and the producer, director that did everything to make it possible guy was a fellow called John Carpenter. And when I watched it, I thought, either that guy's got real lucky or he has a very good idea what's going on. I suspect the latter. And I remember someone years later wrote to John Carpenter and said, look, this bloke David Icke is saying that actually They Live is based on fact. And he said, oh no, the aliens in the movie hiding behind human form were symbolic of the Republican Party. Well, anyone who's seen They Live, you are in a laugh. So I think when you watch John Carpenter's filmmaking history, that guy's got a very good idea of much of what's happening. That's my view anyway. So They Live, and there are so many movies coming out now that are symbolizing the society that the global cabal want to introduce. It's kind of preparing people to accept it, getting people familiar with it so we won't resist it as much as we would otherwise. But They Live, The Matrix 2, but They Live is operating at another level. It's symbolizing the the very force that is actually behind all this, and why human society is the nonsense, the inversion, the grotesque inversion of how human society could be.